The previous chapter focused on creating graphical information, which are the physical geometry of HVAC systems in Revit. This chapter will focus on the non-graphical information. We'll analyze and modify the HVAC systems we created to meet some design criteria. We'll also extract and review necessary engineering information from the systems. In this video, we'll explore some Revit features for visually inspecting HVAC systems and further guide other analyses we'll explore in the following videos. So start by opening the file you used in the previous video or visual analysis in the chapter 4 exercise files folder. So at this point, launch Revit, navigate to exercise files. From the chapter 4 folder, open this file visual analysis, which I have here open. Then open the ground floor HVAC plan. We'll explore the tools in the color field panel of the Analyze ribbon. So you want to duplicate this ground and first floor 3 times and name them appropriately for duct legend, pipe legend, and space legend. I've already done that ahead of this video to save time. So open the ground floor duct legend, then launch the duct legend tool. Drop the floating legend beside the floor plan, and this will launch the choose color scheme dialog. From these options, you want to choose duct color field flow, then click OK to close the dialog. Now repeat the same for the first floor duct legend. Now what we have here is basically a legend view of the air flows within the pipes. So when you zoom in closely, you can see the air flows and their respective color legend. To clean up the views, we'll quickly hide off all the other categories apart from the duct systems. So you can launch the visibility graphics. Now, first of all, we need to exclude these views from the view template. So we'll select all the views, then we'll launch the view template here and set them to none. Then we can open this duct legend, go to visibility graphics, select all the categories and disable them. Then we'll activate only things that have to do with duct system. So ducts, duct fittings, duct insulation, duct accessory, flexible duct, air terminals, and mechanical equipment. Now we'll close this. Then we can also hide this plant equipment from the view. So this focuses our attention to just the ducts and the air flows within them, so you can see what that looks like. You can quickly repeat the same for the first floor. So visibility graphics, VV or VG on your keyboard. Then we'll select only ducts, duct insulation, duct fitting, duct accessories, air terminals, flexible ducts, and mechanical equipment. Then we close this. Now in the following video, we'll size the ducts using the duct sizing tool, but for now we need to split some of the ducts for sizing using the duct legend as a guide. So when we look at this, we can see where the airflow changes, which are basically where the ducts branch off to an air terminal. So activate the split tool from the modify ribbon. Go to the modify ribbon and you will see the split tool. You can also type SL on your keyboard to activate it. Then we'll have to split these ducts anywhere that the airflow changes. So for example, when you come here, you see here. So once after the branch, we'll split it because we'll use that to resize the ducts in the next video. So I'll do that for all the ducts where there are branches and change in airflow, obviously. So we'll do the same for both ground and first floor. So next we need to create the pipe legend. So open the pipe legend view. Then from the analyze ribbon color field panel, activate the pipe legend tool then drop the floating legend beside the floor plan, and this will also launch the color scheme dialog here. So we will choose the default settings for now, and I will click OK. Next, we will select the color fill legend that we have here. If you look at it, you see that what we have here is basically the pipe sizes. That's not what we need. We want to see the flow in the pipes. So we'll select this, we'll click on edit scheme. Then we'll select what we have here is pipe color fill size. We need to duplicate this, and we'll call this pipe color fill flow. Then we'll also use this for the title. So we'll come here, we'll call this pipe color fill flow. Then you can see the various parameters that you can actually create a legend for. So what we're interested in here is the flow. So Revit will warn you that the colors will change and all that. So you click OK. Now you can see the flows that we'll have in this system. Also, we'll set the highlighter fill width to 0.8, so it's not too thick. And then we'll switch to contour fill at 10 millimeter. So whenever you have a pipe that's 10 millimeter or less, it will use a contour fill, which is basically, instead of the color being inside the pipe, because it's too small, it comes outside so that it's more visible. Also notice that you can display the legend by range instead of by value, but we'll accept this for now, and then we'll click OK to close the dialog. Now you can see that it has the pipe. So similar to before, we'll go to visibility graphics and we'll isolate just the pipe component. So we'll click on pipe accessories, pipe fittings, pipes, and mechanical equipment. In this case, we don't need air terminals. Then we'll click OK. Now you can see that the emphasis now is on pipes. So now we'll go to the first floor pipe legend view. This time we'll edit the system color scheme from the properties browser here. So you see the system color scheme here. You click edit. You can see you can change the duct or pipe color scheme. So edit for pipe, and then we'll choose the one we just created for the ground floor, which is this. Then we'll click OK to close the dialog and close this as well. Now to place the legend, we just simply click on the pipe legend tool and we'll place this beside the view. Then we'll go back to visibility graphics and isolate just the pipe categories. So the pipe fitting, pipe accessories, and pipes together with mechanical equipment. Then we'll click OK. So just like for ducts, you can see the legend for the various flow that's going through the pipes. Now this flow is a bit condensed. We actually want to see this in 2 decimal places because, unlike ducts, the flows are quite small. So for us to do that, we'll go to the manage ribbon, and then we'll go to project units. You can also type UN on your keyboard to launch this dialog. Then we'll switch to piping discipline and we will launch flow. From here, we'll set the rounding to 2 decimal places. You can see unit is liter per second and all that. Then we'll click OK to close this. Now you can see this actually recalculates and it will show the values in 2 decimal places, but now it's a bit too large. So we'll select this and then we'll edit type and we'll reduce the text size to 3 millimeters. Also enable show title. Then we'll click OK to close the dialog. So you can see this looks much better. So we'll set up both the ducts and the pipe legend showing the flow within the ducts and pipes. Next, we want to quickly create the one for spaces. So launch the ground floor space view here, and then from the analyze ribbon, launch the color fill legend and drop it beside the floor plan, and this will also launch the choose space type and color scheme. So we'll accept the default for now and then we'll click OK. Now we'll select this legend and then edit scheme once again. This time we'll just rename this to space legend flow. We don't need this name, so we'll rename it instead. We'll call this space legend flow, and then we'll also use that for the title. You can see there are so many parameters as well that you can create legends for, but our interest here is the actual supply airflow, which is the air that's flowing into the spaces. So you can see all the airflows that we have. So this time around, we don't want to see the specific value for all the spaces. We actually want to use a range. So we'll set this to by range. Now you can see what it automatically does. What I want to do is to make the range a multiple of 50 liter per second. So we'll set the at least value here to 50. Then we'll select the last row and click plus so that it changes to 100. So keep selecting the last row and keep clicking plus until we get to at least 450, because the highest airflow we have in the space is about 500. So from 450 and above will be for the final space. So this becomes the range that we have, and when we're done with this, we'll click OK to close the dialog. Now again, to make this easier to understand, we'll just go to here, we'll disable all the categories and enable only spaces, and then just also name the spaces. We can just go to the annotate ribbon and use the tag all command to tag all the spaces. To use the space tag, now click OK, and all the spaces will be tagged. Now go to the first floor, which is the first floor space legend. This time from the properties browser, we will edit the color scheme, which is currently none, and we'll choose the same one we just created. Then we will click OK to close the dialog. Now to place the legend here, we'll go to analyze ribbon and we'll place the color scheme. And just like before, we'll go to the visibility graphics and show only the spaces and tag all of them just like we did before. For the annotate ribbon, you click on tag all and select spaces, and it will tag all the spaces immediately. So with this legend, you can visually inspect your design against several parameters. With what we've seen here, for the spaces, you can see all the parameters that we can create legend for. You can see that there are just so many parameters. For these videos, our interest is for the airflows, but there are so many other parameters that you can actually visualize with this legend, and this is what enables you to actually inspect your design visually before we begin to look at the other advanced tools. So for pipe as well, you can see all the legends that we can modify. So you can see all the parameters that we can actually visualize with legends, and the same applies to ducts. So in summary, the color schemes can expose design flaws, which you can quickly rectify. And in the following videos, we'll explore some advanced system analysis tools in Revit.